Hi everyone, it's Jennifer, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my September wrap-up and my October TBR. So September was a terrible reading month for me. I was in a slump the entire way through. I tried to read a lot of books and I ended up coming up very short. I only read 3 books in the month of September, and for me that's pretty awful, but I'm hoping to catch up next month. So for the wrap-up portion of this video, like I said, I read 3 books in the month of September, and those are as follows. So the first book that I read in the month of September is Heir of Fire. Like I said in my book haul, this is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and the series progresses very well, going to the 3rd book. Though there's a lot more world building in this book, and I find that the character development was phenomenal in this book. I do find that it came up short to her 2nd book, Crown of Midnight, but nonetheless, I still absolutely loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. Then I have 2 other books I read, and the first, it is a part of the Maze Runner trilogy. The second one is the Scorch Trials, and I read it right after seeing the Maze Runner movie, which I absolutely loved, and it was fantastic. I really liked the Scorch Trials, not as much as the Maze Runner though. It basically kicks off right after the Maze Runner ends, and it's a whole new trial, and I really enjoyed it. Again, I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. The last book I read in September is The Death Cure, and this one fell short for me. I really did enjoy it up into about the last third of the book. I find it kind of went downhill, and I really loved this series, and so this one here again fell short. 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It wasn't my favorite ending, but as most trilogies go recently for me, it's always been the 3rd book that kind of falls short. So, but nonetheless, the Maze Runner, I love the Maze Runner trilogy, and I definitely recommend it to anybody who likes a dystopian sci-fi. So for my TBR portion of the month, I picked a themed October to be read pile. Mostly scarier or thrilling books. I'm just gonna say that not all these books are what I'm going to be reading, but books that I can choose from for this month. So I'm just gonna start with the first book that I have, and that is Servants of the Storm by Delilah S. Dawson. This book sounds pretty good. It sounds kind of like an alien book, I want to say, but I'm not so sure. It's about a hurricane that hits this small town, and a lot of lives are lost, including the life of Dovey, the main character, her best friend. And in order to cope with all that they've lost, they have to take these pills to help them like calm down and stuff. And Dovey, the main character, stops taking the pills, and she sees things that she shouldn't be seeing, like her best friend in her favorite cafe after she's passed away. And so she's kind of and she kind of sees more than what she's supposed to, she believes, and she kind of believes that the hurricane was actually a man-made and not a natural disaster, and something's going on. So that's basically that book. It sounds really like creepy, in the fact, like, look at this cover, it looks creepy, so I just think that there's some creepiness to it. I'm excited. Next I have a graphic novel, and that is Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. It's actually a Canadian author, so yay Canada. So this book, basically they're 5 short stories all told in the woods, and they're like graphic and creepy, and it looks just so good. And I don't know much about this book except for that they're 5 short stories told in the woods, and that they're creepy, and this has Halloween written all over it, just saying. Next, I have a book that kind of blew up last year on BookTube, and but I decided to wait for this October to read it, and that is The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. This, the only thing I know about it is that it follows a girl who lives in a town where they have cold towns and they are a quarantine area for vampires. And once you enter Cold Town, you do not leave Cold Town. And the main character, Tana, one day has to go to Cold Town, and there's some kind of adventure and paranormal and fantasticness, and I can't wait. Everybody loves this book, so. Another book I want to read this month is The Turning by Francine Prose, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this book, and it seemed really interesting. It's about a boy named Jack who goes to a secluded island on vacation. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no connection, there's nothing except for him and his thoughts. And he stumbles upon a house where, when he goes into this house, he feels like there are paranormal entities around. And it sounds like spooky, and it's really short, and I think I'm gonna really enjoy it. It's gonna freak me out completely, and I'm excited. Next, I have a middle grade book that I've been really into horror middle grade, and so the book I have is The Night Gardener by Jonathan Auxier, I believe. It could be French. And the pages are black in this book. It's fantastic. And this summary is very vague, but what I do know about it is it's about two Irish orphans who are now servants in a house, more specifically in a mansion. And in this mansion they have other servants, and one of them is a night gardener. And the night gardener, he puts on an ancient curse that can potentially harm their lives. That's all I know about this book. But I find it so cool. On the actual hardback, it has a little passage, and it says, "To stand in the widow of this tree was to feel a chill run through your whole body." And I think that's so cool. So I am super excited. I hope it scares me. Next, I have a book that I hauled last month, and that is Nightmares by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. Like I said, I don't know too much about this book, but what I do know is that I want to read it, so. Okay. This book, I'm a little hesitant to read because everybody's been kind of really creeped out by this book and says it's really scary, and that is 172 Hours on the Moon by Jonah Harstad. This is a book, I believe, about aliens, and it follows three teenagers who go to the moon to escape whatever life they have on Earth. While there are only supposed to be 3 people going to the moon, they realize that there are others that don't want them there. So it's sci-fi, horror, and it just seems amazing. Okay, I have another book here, and that is The Basic 8 by Daniel Handler. And if you did not know, Daniel Handler is Lemony Snicket, who wrote the series of Fortunate Events. This sounds interesting. It's about a clique. Of girls who called themselves the Basic 8. One of the girls in this clique, Flannery, is accused of being a murderer, and all it says here is that she's not a murderer, she's a murderess. And it seems really interesting, and I really enjoyed Series of Fortunate Events, so I hope I will enjoy his other books as well. Another book that I want to read this month is Another Little Piece by Kate Karis Quinn, and this is weird. It follows a girl who wakes up, who has no recollection of how she got here or anything, but what she does know is that she's not in her own body, and she has to kind of figure out this other girl's life, and I guess there's somebody who doesn't want her to figure it out, and it seems really crazy, and it seems exciting. The next book is a book that has been very popular on BookTube recently, and it seems really fun and interesting, and that is Deadly Class by, I don't want to say who it's by, but it's by many authors, but the one, when I searched it up, it says Rick Remender, so I'm just going to say by Rick Remender. This is about an orphan kid who gets recruited into a school for assassins, and it just seems scary. It just seems like weird in a paranormal sense, and it's a graphic novel, and I think I could fly through this book, so why not? The next 3 books are Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, 1, 2, and 3. Definitely going to be reading these books, either one in between another or all at once. I'm just really, I can't wait. I cannot wait. So there you have it. These are all the books that I hope to get to in the next month. I plan on getting freaked out of my mind, so I'm excited. And, well, that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.